Episode 11.
Who is that guy?
That's Zhao Ziling, a disciple of the Fifth Elder. His willow-swaying swordplay is a real pain to deal with.
How does he compare to senior brother Li?
Of course, he's no match.
Then why didn't Zhang Changui send out someone more skilled?
Zhao Ziling is the strongest among them. Besides, among us new disciples, who could possibly beat senior brother Li? It'd be a waste of time for anyone.
Just as expected, Zhao Ziling's swordplay hadn't yet fallen into disarray, but his fighting spirit was completely gone, utterly suppressed by senior brother Li's long sword. To any clear-eyed observer, his defeat was only a matter of time. Han Li watched for a while, but a question began to form in his mind.
There's something I find strange. Why aren't there any older senior brothers around? Even if they're not allowed to compete, someone should at least be here to watch, right? But there's not a single senior disciple here, inside or outside the arena. It's just us new recruits, all in our teens, watching the matches.
At Han Li's question, little Abacus's expression changed. He gave Han Li a strange look, leaving him utterly bewildered.
Did I just touch on a taboo subject?
Senior brother Han, you really are the type to keep your head in the sand, aren't you? You don't even know about something this big? Even if you were in secluded meditation, your master should have mentioned it to you.
Without a word, Han Li swiftly pulled a waist token from his person and handed it to little Abacus. Little Abacus shot a quick glance at the waist token from the corner of his eye. Seeing it was genuine, he immediately broke into an ingratiating smile.
Hey, senior brother Han, what are you doing? Would I ever doubt you? The moment I saw you, I felt like we'd met before. I'm sure we have, haha.
So are you going to tell me now?
Oh, of course, of course. Oh no, I think I've offended this guy. Over the last few years, the conflict between the Seven Mysteries sect and the Wild Wolf gang has been fierce. They've fought over a few wealthy towns with disputed ownership, more than a dozen battles big and small. Both sides have lost a lot of people because the Wild Wolf gang's members are trained using the same brutal methods as horse bandits. They fight like they've got nothing to lose, and once they see blood, they just go berserk. But the disciples of the Seven Mysteries sect, while more skilled in martial arts, lack that vicious edge. They fight with hesitation, holding back in the thick of battle. That just means we're the ones who end up taking the heavier casualties. After a string of consecutive clashes, the top brass of the Seven Mysteries sect could no longer sit idle. They dispatched the majority of the sect's inner disciples to join the ensuing series of bloody confrontations. On one hand, we absolutely cannot lose these territories. On the other, our disciples need to see the harsh reality of the Jianghu for themselves. Let them be tempered by it to gain real combat experience. In the fighting that followed, the Seven Mysteries sect gained the upper hand again. But the casualties among the inner disciples were just too high. Many of the older senior brothers who went out, and they never came back. Well, after that, the sect masters changed their strategy. They started sending inner disciples on less critical missions first to gain some experience out in the world. Once they'd gained some real-world experience, then they'd be sent to fight the Wild Wolf gang. That way, casualties dropped significantly. So, this strategy was formally written into the sect's rules over the last 2 years. It requires all disciples, after completing their initial training, to first go down the mountain and gain worldly experience. Only after they return can they be granted a true position of responsibility within the sect. So all the senior disciples up on the mountain have pretty much been sent down below. Right now, they're either tangled up with the Wild Wolf gang, or they've gone off on a training mission. Aside from the essential disciples guarding the mountain, only us younger disciples who haven't yet ventured out remain.
Hearing this, Han Li finally understood. Now he knew the reason why the mountain felt so different from before.
With a thunderous crash, a flexible sword was sent flying high into the air.
Zhao Ziling clutched his right hand, the web between his thumb and forefinger throbbing from the impact. He stumbled back several steps, his face pale as he gasped for air.
He couldn't dodge senior brother Li's swift, relentless flurry of strikes. Forced to parry with his flexible sword, the sheer force behind the blade sent his weapon flying from his grasp.
Senior brother Li is truly formidable. I concede defeat.
Senior brother Li, your footwork is so light. Your blade technique is incredible. Senior Brother Lee, you're amazing.
Senior Brother Lee is just too amazing. A chorus of eager shouts, each trying to outdo the last, rang out across the entire grounds for their idol. Senior Brother Lee sheathed his long blade, a faint blush coloring his cheeks. He was just about to speak when his expression suddenly changed, his brow furrowing as if he'd remembered something.
I have some urgent business to attend to. I must take my leave.
Senior Brother Lee turned and drifted lightly out of the arena, showing off a graceful display of lightness skill before vanishing into the pine forest by the cliff.
Senior Brother Lee's King Gong is truly impressive as well.
Yeah, impressive footwork. Thoughtful. This Senior Brother Lee's skills are quite good, though he seems a bit fond of showing off. Probably just a bit of youthful exuberance.
I'm not really any older than these people, so why do my thoughts always feel so weary and old-fashioned, like some little old man?
Hanley glanced at little Abacus standing to the side and suddenly asked for his name.
Hey, junior brother, I still don't know your name. My name is Jin Dong Bao, but senior brother Han can just call me Little Abacus.
Looks like I found myself a solid tree to lean on.
If you ever get sick or injured, just come find me. I'll treat you for free. Hanley gave him a pat on the shoulder. He glanced at the crowd where another argument was already brewing, then turned and walked into the pine forest without a backward glance. Left behind, Jin Dongbao stood there in a daze, utterly baffled. He couldn't make heads or tails of what the man had meant. He had already put a fair distance between himself and the cliff, but their bickering still drifted faintly to his ears. How the others would settle the dispute between Wang Dapeng and Zhang Changgui was no longer Han Li's concern. The thought of Jin Dongbao standing there, dumbstruck, made him want to burst out laughing. He felt a wave of relief wash over him, all the gloom from the valley finally lifting. Han Li strolled along at a leisurely pace, passing through the pine forest and heading toward more remote areas. After a short, aimless stroll, a narrow stream came into view. Han Li looked up at the scorching sun in the sky, then glanced down at the clear water flowing gently in the stream. A quick wash in the creek seemed like a fine idea.
Just as he bent down and plunged his hands into the cool stream water. Surprised, a series of pained groans drifted down from upstream.
Someone's out here in such a remote spot? Han Li followed the sound of groaning upstream. There, he found a man in the robes of an inner disciple, face down by the creek. The man's body was convulsing, his limbs trembling uncontrollably. Han Li could tell at a glance that this disciple was suffering from a sudden, acute illness. Without immediate aid, his life would be in grave danger. He lunged forward in a single stride, pulled a sandalwood box from his robe, and opened it. From within, he drew out a series of gleaming silver needles, then swiftly and precisely inserted them into the acupoints on the man's back. He swiftly finished placing the needles along the man's back. Then he flipped the body over, ready to target the acupoints on the chest. As he turned the man over, his face was revealed. Han Li drew a sharp breath. The man on the brink of death was none other than Senior Brother Lee, who had just moments ago displayed his awe-inspiring power on the cliff. Han Li paused, then took a closer look at that face he'd seen not long ago. Where was the dashing, invincible hero who had just crushed his opponent? His once cruel face was now twisted in agony. White foam dribbled continuously from the corners of his mouth. Clearly, this Senior Brother Lee was delirious with pain. Han Li regained his composure. After a brief moment of thought, he suddenly began to apply the silver needles in his hand, flowing like water across the man's body, inserting dozens of them in rapid, unbroken succession. As he inserted the final needle, Han Li wiped the sweat from his brow and let out a long breath. This emergency acupuncture technique was no small burden for him either. When Senior Brother Lee was covered from head to toe in those gleaming silver needles, he finally came to and regained his senses.
Who are you? I'm from the Divine Beast Valley. Don't speak. Focus on recovering your strength. I can only revive you for now.
Your condition is strange. Only Dr. Mo could likely treat it. Unfortunately, he's not on the mountain right now.
The medicine.
Wait, you have medicine for your condition on you. Senior Brother Lee managed a weak nod.
Hanley didn't stand on ceremony. He searched the man's body, turning up a pile of miscellaneous items. Among them, he singled out a small white jade vial.
This bottle is so exquisite, and it's sealed so perfectly. It must be what he was looking for. Han Li picked up the bottle and glanced back at Senior Brother Li's expression. Sure enough, his face was beaming with joy, and he was blinking his eyes furiously. Han Li opened the bottle's cap. To his surprise, no medicinal fragrance wafted out. Instead, a thick, rancid stench rushed straight into his face. The moment Han Li caught a whiff of that stench, his face instantly twisted in disgust. He carefully poured out a single pink pill. It was such a lovely rosy color, yet it gave off this foul odor. It was truly unbelievable.
Finally, Han Li's expression returned to normal.
Is it this pill?
Senior Brother Li was so frantic he couldn't speak, only managing to blink his eyes. The marrow-draining pill is refined from 23 rare ingredients, including Dutchman's pipe, scorpion's tail flower, and 100-year-old blue ant eggs. The finished pill is pink in color and has a strange fishy stench. Consuming it drastically overdrafts the body's latent potential, trading future lifespan for a boost in the user's current abilities.
Am I right? Senior Brother Li's face instantly drained of all color upon hearing Han Li's words.